You'll also notice our Advent candles on the altar this morning. Reverend Fred Hammond explains Advent to us. He says, Advent is from the Latin word meaning coming. It refers to both the coming of the birth of Jesus at Christmas, as well as the second coming of Jesus at the end of the age. It is a time of preparation, of expectant hope, of waiting for the Messiah to come. It's most likely because of our ambivalence to Jesus as being Messiah, or in his second return, that we Unitarian Universalists have not made much about the season of Advent, he says. But Advent for Unitarian Universalists can be a time of planning, of preparing the way, of welcoming the coming, if not of the Christ, then of the arrival of another life, ours, lived in compassion toward our neighbors, seen in the activities to rid the world of oppression and injustice. Such a life demands spiritual fortitude and spiritual practice to reweave us when the cloth of compassion wears thin. Advent can be that season where we refortify ourselves for the work we have chosen for this specific time and this specific place. And we had better get to it, he says. We had better get to it. So we light the first Advent candle to call upon hope. May those who are without today not be without hope. May oppressed communities not lose hope as they continue to struggle. May we continue to hope for reconciliation, healing, and new love in our lives. And may our own small light offer a spark of hope in the darkness. Now is a time when those who are better at math or more in tune with their calendars put together that to light 4 Advent candles before Christmas, we actually would have had to start last week in November. But Advent is a time of patience, so we don't mind some mistakes. So today we also light the second candle. The first candle of Advent reminded us to be hopeful. We light this second Advent candle to call upon peace. May warring countries come to the table to negotiate for peace. May oppressed communities receive not only peace, but justice. May our families be at peace around our own tables. And may each of us find our inner peace and center ourselves around a peaceful heart. Our prayer this morning is by Wayne Arneson. The beginning of the holiday season is filled with temptations to consumption and pleas for generosity. The contrast between the values represented by this time of year and our ability to fulfill them remind us how great the distance can be between aspirations and actions. The month has begun with the observance of World AIDS Day, and Human Rights Day follows. They remind us, those of us at home and abroad, who are imprisoned by disease, poverty, discrimination. The messages of liberation, dignity, and joy that come with Hanukkah and with Christmas are hard to hear unless they are conveyed by gracious acts of outreach to those who suffer. Our prayer this day, then, is that we may be gentle with ourselves and with others as we do our best to navigate through the tricky shoals of December. May we avoid being so distracted with our own problems and duties this year that we forget the wider web of life of which we are a part. May we go about our rounds of preparations and festivities with a light heart and with boundless patience. May the dissatisfactions that are part of our lot be our companions but not our masters as we cross the holiday threshold. And may all the joys of the season be ours this time around. Amen. Our first reading this morning is entitled The Feast by Robert Haas. The lovers loitered on the deck, talking, the men who were with men and the men who were with new women, a little shrill and electric, and the wifely women who had repose and beautifully lined faces and coppery skin. She had taken the turkey from the oven, and her friends were talking on the deck in the steady sunshine. She imagined them drifting toward the food in small groups, finishing sentences, lifting a pickle or a sliver of turkey, nibbling a little with unconscious pleasure. And she imagined setting it out artfully, the white meat, the breads, antipasto, the mushrooms and salad, arranged down the oak counter cleanly, and how they all came as in a dance when she called them. She carved the meat, and then she was crying. Then she was in the darkness, crying. She didn't know what she wanted. Our second reading is from Sesame Street, a 1978 episode of Sesame Street featuring Oscar the Grouch, and this song that he sang, I Hate Christmas. I can't think of anything that's dumber. To a grouch, Christmas is a bummer. Beaming faces everywhere, happiness is in the air. I'm telling you, it isn't fair. I hate Christmas. People loaded with goodwill, giving presents, what a thrill. That slushy nonsense makes me ill. I hate Christmas. I'd rather have a holiday like normal grouches do. Instead of getting presents, they take presents back from you. Here come Santa girls and boys, so who needs that big red noise? I'll tell him where to put his toys. I hate Christmas. Christmas carols to be sung, decorations to be hung. Oh yeah? Well, I stick out my tongue. I hate Christmas. Christmas bells play loud and strong, hurts my ears, all that ding-dong. Besides, it goes on much too long. I hate Christmas. I'd rather have a holiday with a lot less joy and flash, with a lot less cheerful smiling, and a lot more dirty trash. Christmas Day is almost here. When it's over, then I cheer. I'm glad it's only once a year. I hate Christmas. Thus ends the reading. There's a spider on the pulpit. Go away. Okay.
You need help.
I'll just let him stay there, but if I move rapidly, oh, thank you. Thank you, Mary. I love this.
Oh.
love.
There we go. Oh, he's a jumper.
Oh, God. I don't feel better anymore. Now you know one of my fears. Pandora Box, drag queen, comedian, reality TV personality, says the following. "'Tis the season to be jolly, fa-la-la-la-la, blah, blah, blah." Now don't misunderstand, she says. I'm no Scrooge by any means. I like Christmas and all that jazz. But sometimes the holiday season gets to be a little much. Then she offers her holiday survival guide, which I won't share now because it is truly awful advice. I just liked her opening line. I'll offer my own holiday survival guide instead. My guide has been compiled particularly with those in mind for whom the holiday season is challenging, either every year or this year particularly. That might be the minority, that might be all of us, I'm not sure. What I do know is that our role as a faith community is to help each other both celebrate and get through the holidays. A woman named Mary Jane Fahey wrote a piece called "How to Survive the Couple Happy Holidays, 7 Tips for the Newly Single." I take my first tip from her, which is decorate, celebrate. I know this tip may be difficult for those who are newly single or perennially single or those going through other transitions in life, but take some advice from Mary Jane. She says, hopefully you won't make the same mistakes I did on that first feast without my other half. The Norman Rockwell version of Thanksgiving stopped working for me at some point, she said. Though I came from a huge family and loved the tradition as a kid, the issues kicked in as I got older and found myself chained to the kitchen. Ugh. Now, on this first Thanksgiving, liberated from his huge family and from my enormous brood because they gave me a loving dispensation, I decided to focus on a non-traditional blowout with my sidekick and buddy, Newly Stag, for her first fete as well. I focused on the part of Thanksgiving I love best, she says, the day after triple-decker killer sandwiches made with the works. De rigueur dark turkey, artery-clogging stuffing, cranberries, gravy, mayo, and every other condiment you can think of, only to find out when my pal arrived that she was suddenly 100% vegetarian and was going to skip the turkey, the stuffing, the cranberries, and focus on the green salad. Who knew? Mary Jane says, eating a massive hoagie across the table from a pseudo-vegetarian in my kitchen just didn't cut it. I felt alone and miserable. I missed all the trimmings, all the dramas, all the chaos, all the loving, and even the cleanup part that is part of sharing holidays together. So for the next holiday, Christmas, Mary Jane decided to be a little more thoughtful and introspective about what would bring her joy on her terms. The holidays were special for my ex and me, she writes. Buying the tree was a huge deal. We decorate for hours, placing the star up top last, exhausted from crucial placement of tinsel and candy canes. There was no garland, ever. He thought garlands were tacky. This year, she says, I got myself a gosh darn tree and decorated it with a garland. So tip number 1 in our holiday survival guide is to know the rituals and traditions that are meaningful to you and to practice them, even if it is just for you. Also, if being alone is what will make you happy on a holiday, do that. But if it will make you miserable, find somewhere to go, friends to be with, invite people over, share your dearly held holiday traditions with them. My second suggestion is to take some time for peace and quiet. The holidays turn a slow time of year into a hectic one. That's what decades of successful marketing will do for a country, drive it insane. But even amidst all that hustle and bustle, even with the shopping and the traffic and the parties and the crowds and the ads and the fundraisers and the extended families, we can carve out time for silence, for centering, for prayer. There are small rituals that can help with this. Writing in a journal, taking a walk, lighting a candle, drinking tea. If you don't have a centering ritual of your own, or if you are open to a new one, there's a little chant that helps me, and Brenda's gonna help me. It goes like this. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. We're gonna do that again. You're already excellent. We're going to do it a few times through, and the choir is going to join us with some descants. This, right now, is a ritual of peace and centering. Singing together here at the meeting house is a tool in our holiday survival kit. Let's use it. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Yeah. Hang on to that. Now let's face it, one of the hardest things around this time of year can be time with family. This is both the blessing and the curse of the holiday season. Families are hard. James, can you zoom in here for a second? Not my family. My family is perfect. Thank you. I'm just covering my back on YouTube. Now, while I generally preach themes compatible with non-dualism, we are not separate and all of that, this does not apply during the holidays with your family. I want you to practice something with me. Me. Do it. Me. Them. How they are feeling. How I am feeling. How they are acting. How I am going to act. Okay? Hang on to that one too. A holiday meal with family is a perfect opportunity to practice differentiation. They can be crazy, stressed, homophobic, passive-aggressive, aggressive-aggressive, whatever. We don't have to be. They can raise their voices, drink too much, push our buttons. We can stay calm, practice moderation, wish them well. They can buy into the consumerism, the materialism, the perfectionism being thrust on all of us during the holidays. We can give them homemade gifts that may or may not be poorly wrapped, and we can be proud of them. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Now, if you don't have somewhere to go for holiday celebrations, or even if you do, here's another essential part of the holiday survival guide. Volunteer. It's not buying gifts, but being a gift to the world that this time of year is really all about. And serving others in need also just happens to be the best thing to get us outside of our own heads. You start to feel better because you are helping others. Double blessing. Trust me, you will never be as conscious of your own blessings as you are when you are helping others. Okay, I'm going to deepen this conversation now and take a bit of a turn. My white privilege means that I could go through this entire sermon without mentioning race or injustice. And I think very few of you would hold me accountable for that. After all, we talked about it last week. And I actually considered leaving it out. But I also feel accountable to that sinking feeling at the bottom of my stomach, to the rage puddling up down there. And my stomach is calling me to talk again about race because this week I watched a video of a 12-year-old boy playing by himself in an empty and expansive wooded park with a toy gun. He looked like my nephew when he's playing outside, except he was black. And then police pulled up and within 2 seconds shot him, and he died. He was Tamir Rice. And this week I decided not to watch a video of another black man who was stopped by the police for selling cigarettes. And he was put into a chokehold, and he died. And his last words were, "I can't breathe." He was Eric Garner. So part of what I am struggling with this holiday season, part of the survival guide that I need, is some clues as to how to navigate the merriment of the season when I am so sad, when I am so confused about what power I have to change things now that my eyes are opened wider to a system that so desperately needs to change. Now that I, too, am struggling to breathe under the weight of injustice. Although, again, my privilege allows me to sometimes not watch because it feels like too much. And I don't have all the answers, but I think breathing is a start, an act that has been denied to many. Breathing in peace, breathing out love, breathing in peace, breathing out love. I've been wondering if the faithful response to the holiday season this year is to skip it, to mark it instead with a time of mourning. But I don't think it is. I don't think it is because I realize that to build the world we dream about, we need to create goodness as much as we need to battle hatred and fear. The world we are trying to build, the world of peace that we envision, especially during the holidays, is not one absent of joy. It is one that includes both justice and joy. So it's okay not to abandon the tree, the candles, the cookies, the things that give us joy this season, so long as we are working toward that vision of peace as well, so long as we are creating good in all the ways we know how. The spider is back, I'm sorry. Go away. So the holidays, like life itself, will be a mixture of creating goodness even as we witness bad things, and hopefully take a stand against them. A season of creating light even as we witness the darkness of greed, of violence, of fear. Elie Wiesel, Holocaust survivor, said the opposite of love is not hatred, it's indifference. So part of my holiday survival guide is not to be indifferent to the news. Stay engaged, even though it is hard. To find a balance between grieving and gift-giving. Some of my gifts will be donations to organizations that I see making a difference in the world. To find a balance between laughter and listening to those who are grieving so deeply they cannot find joy this year. Some of my time will be spent reaching out to those who need a shoulder to cry on. To find a balance between spending time at protests and spending time with family. And believe me, I will be hugging my niece and nephew a little tighter this Christmas, having been reminded again that all life is sacred. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Advent can be a time of planning, of preparing the way, of welcoming the coming, if not of the Christ, then of the arrival of another life, ours, lived in compassion towards our neighbors, seen in the activities to rid the world of oppression and injustice. Such a life demands spiritual fortitude and spiritual practice to reweave us when the cloth of compassion wears thin. Advent can be that season where we refortify ourselves for the work we have chosen for this specific time and this specific place, and we had better get to it. We had better get to it. Amen, and blessed be.